we turn our attention to the individual congregations that the Lord, through John, is writing to. And we come first of all to the church of Ephesus. Now, I talked about the historical background to Ephesus. And we have in Acts chapter 19, and then also in Acts chapter 20, verses 17 to 38, the establishment of this congregation. It was established by the Apostle Paul on his third and last, what we call, missionary journey. And he was there 2 years, or at least in that part of Asia Minor, for 2 years. And the group began with 12 men who had known only the baptism of John. There was also an incident that took place, a couple incidents, of course, that took place in Ephesus. There were 7 sons of Sceva who were casting out, or trying to cast out, demons in the name of Christ. And these particular demons looked at them and said, well, we know Paul and we know Christ, but we don't know you. Left the man and possessed the 7 sons who fled from the house. This incident spread throughout the city of Ephesus, and there were quite a number of magicians, individuals who were doing this same thing, came to Paul and confessed, and they brought their books of magic. They had a book burning. We are told that that the price of these books was 50,000 pieces of silver. Then there was a man by the name of Demetrius, who was a silversmith, and his trade was in making little statues of Diana and selling them, and he thought that Paul was ruining his business. And so he set out to get rid of Paul and started a riot and started a tumult, and many of the people that came, to this scene didn't know why they'd come. Not unlike today, is it? Crowd gathers and everybody else joins in and asks what's going on, and half of them don't know. But since this riot started, the city clerk showed up, got their attention and calmed them down, and said, look, if you've got legitimate claims, take it to the court. When we get to Acts 20, 17 to 38, it is Paul's farewell address to the elders of this congregation in Ephesus, encouraging them, admonishing them. And then Paul leaves and heads back to Jerusalem, where he then is eventually arrested and sent to Rome. Of course, we also have the letter of Paul to the Ephesians. So Ephesus is quite a lot of information is known about the city of Ephesus. And it was probably about 30 years after the congregation in Ephesus was established that the Lord, by His Spirit, through John, sends this letter to the Ephesians. And there's 2 points that I'll try and briefly make. One is, maybe when we think of these congregations, we think that they were numbered in the thousands. It may be. Then again, it may not be. We do know that 12 men helped establish the congregation in Ephesus. 12. Maybe their wives, so maybe there was 24, maybe a few others. We don't know. We have to be careful that we don't get caught up in numbers, as though that is the all-important thing, because it isn't. The other thing we want to note is that, well, it was about 30 years. And from the beginning to 30 years later, we'll see what happened when we look a little closer into what the Lord says here in Revelation to Ephesus. A lot could happen